Trance number 3, the
All
dreaded
right.
water dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of mixed reactions out of this one. A lot of people just freaked out right away. Are like, this is so bad. This is going to be terrible. And a
Yeah,
lot of people well, not a lot, but a few people kind of went through it and that opinion didn't change. They're just like, this is terrible. You can't make people do this.
it was. I guess you haven't seen how I played through this
No,
at
not yet.
at this point in time, but I won't air these videos until afterwards, so I can do spoilers. I thought this dungeon was pretty easy. I accepted the mining fatigue because I ended up never even seeing that Elder Guardians were swimming around in here. And so I wasn't sure if it was, Elder Guardians or command blocks or what was giving it to me in the first place.
Hmm.
Um, and so, um, yeah, like I was just like, okay, let's just assume that we can't mine blocks. What are we gonna do? I should get myself some depth strider boots too, um, which I can make with an anvil over here. Depth strider, where are you? There it is. Depth strider. Haha. Anvil. Haha. Do 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 do. Distracted.
I threw something at
Yeah.
you.
It was a race. Um, yeah, so basically I was just like, okay, I am gonna have mining fatigue, so let's just light everything and use light to extinguish all the spawners,
Hmm.
and just kind of fight my way through. I maybe used TNT in a couple of places, and it took me a minute the
Hmm.
first time you handed out some slime blocks to realize, oh, slime blocks are blocks you can kind of place and instantly mine,
Yeah.
but I hardly ended up using them. Um, and so I just kind of fought my way through. But at this point, I was in good armor, and so I don't know, bust my way through it or whatever, and didn't worry about the mobs too much, and just was a tank.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a I nerfed this a little bit. Like this main room used to be a little bit harsher. There was more guardian population in here, so swimming through it, unless you did some really fancy weaving in and out of the
Hmm.
building, you'd most likely take some guardian damage.
Right, right, and yeah, I
Um,
definitely took some guardian damage and did spend a bit of time kind of like weaving in and out. Are there spawners in here, or is this a water temple on the
there's
map, or
there's guardian spawners, normal guardians. The elders, they get spawned. If you want to come back through here, I've
sorry, I lost
got
track of
at
you.
the beginning
Okay,
here.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think it's right down here. I guess game mode 1 or game mode 3.
okay.
Oh yeah, it's over here. So there's a little falling sand spawner here that I use for like local area player detection.
Oh, yep, got it. Yep.
This way I'm not, it's just like less command block
Less.
clocking.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so this spawns it spawns all three Elder Guardians, and then it also adds a scoreboard value for the player. Um,
So
I
that it
can't
only does it
remember.
once or something, or
I can't remember why, but there's yeah, it spawns three Guardians and then gives you a scoreboard value for some reason I can't remember, and then it deletes the block, and then it never
okay,
spawns again.
I
So
see. And then
yeah,
are
I
the
use those a
elders? They're
lot.
not the elders are not invulnerable or anything crazy.
They are invulnerable. Yeah, I wanted
Oh,
that to be.
okay.
Oh, I just clicked it, and now I'm inside of an Elder Guardian. Lol.
Oh yeah,
Shift.
spectator
Okay, there
mode.
we go. um, yeah, they're invulnerable. I wanted them to stay here. Um,
Oh, they move weird. I'm inside of him now too, and like he was shaking
yeah,
his tail, and my little field of view is all.
yeah.
Spectating mobs is fun.
The idea was that they would. I didn't want to make them have no AI because I wasn't sure if the actual Guardian effects would
Oh,
work
right,
with no
right.
AI.
Okay.
So I tried to build these little cages that they spawn in, but as you can see, well, they
They
swim
swim
out of
out.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think they stay in
um,
the cages for me because I'd never discovered that they were in here anywhere.
yeah,
But everyone else I've seen play through like has seen the Elder Guardians and tried to attack them and speculated about whether or not they were invulnerable. And
yeah,
I feel like maybe I was fortunate to have not had that happen. because basically it meant that I wasn't distracted with should I try to kill them to get rid of the mining fatigue and like other strategies. It was just like, okay, I'm just gonna accept that I have mining fatigue and take on the dungeon.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Usually I wouldn't do an invulnerable hostile mob that the player could interact with just because that's really confusing. But
I
um,
don't know. Could you put a
in
name
in
tag
this
like I've
case,
seen in?
I could have put like resistance 5 on it, which is basically 100% damage
Right,
reduction.
right,
But I don't know. Then it seems like end up being the same thing. Like you just chase them around, beating on them forever
right.
until you realize you couldn't kill them.
I
So,
know in Ragecraft 2 we had invulnerable creepers at some point, and they just
oh
had a
yeah, I
label on
hated
their
those.
name tag on the top of their head that just said invulnerable. I'm not sure what a name tag on the Elder Guardian is. And yeah, it's another. It's again the trade off of like telling the player versus like having them discover it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Like I said, I just always go back to Minecraft doesn't tell you anything. So it's about
yeah.
discovery. You discovered something.
I see. All right, yeah. Let's take a look at the first dungeon then, or the first
Okay.
tier, the first.
I don't
I
know
don't know
if
what
you're
to
in
call it. Oh
spectator
yeah, sorry, I'm in spectator mode, right?
or okay.
Hello. Now I'm beside you.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, so first little area.
Right. I like the fact that they're wearing the guardian head and they have thorns. It was kind of
Hmm.
like double communicated, and obviously they got the glowing chest plate, and um, so you got a sense of what was going on with these guys. And yeah, when I originally came in here, like the first thing I tried to do with the mining fatigue was like, oh, there's creepers spawning up here as well, and so it was like, let's bring the creepers over and enlist them as helpful allies to blow up the spawners.
Hmm.
And so I did that a little bit kind of in here. And then at some point, I was just like, yeah, that's a lot of work, and I'm just going to light everything up and kill whoever has already spawned. And
Yeah.
so I kind of switched to that mode.
Yeah, it's I actually in one of the earlier versions, not only had I forgot to give these guys health drops, they also had Thorns 3, which
Ooh,
without wikiing it, I assumed that the 3 only accounted for damage, but it actually accounts for the chance for it to proc too.
right,
So
yes.
Thorns 3 is 45% chance to proc every time. And oh man, this dungeon was terrible. It was just so hard and just unforgiving, like everything you fought would take you down a few hearts. And but I also had the mob spawners set with like a slightly wider spawning range, um, which was just terribly cruel considering you can't destroy them. You want to light them up, but you just couldn't add enough light
I
in the
see, because
room
there's
to
like
stop
open
them.
space right out here that's
Yeah, it
really
was
hard to
just
light up. I see.
yeah, it was just terribly mean. Like it was probably much more challenging if that's what you like, but it's one of those things you're not going to understand why they're still spawning until you realize okay, they're just spawning way out in the middle of
Right.
nowhere.
But yeah, it was definitely possible for people to get TNT. It was possible for people to use the creepers to blow things up. And so there were, yeah, multiple
Mhm.
avenues that people could choose to do.
That's what I hope people would do is go for the TNT trades and then yeah.
The trades, okay, so that's an interesting thing. Like, I interacted with the shaman at the beginning,
Hmm.
and towards the end of the map, like, I forgot that some of the trades were even available. And um, it's the usual kind of thing of if everything's introduced up front, but you don't need it yet, like, some things you want to wait to, like, introduce until it, like, comes for the time for the player to need it or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know how you would kind of like do that. But I may have remembered the TNT trade, but I wasn't too worried about it because I had my own strategy that was kind of working in the dungeon. But there was definitely another trade, blaze rods and blaze powder, I guess, by the time I was getting to the blaze obelisk out here. I think
Hmm.
you could trade for something. I don't remember what it was. But
I
I had
think
already
one
destroyed
was
the blaze
strength.
obelisk before I even like remembered that there was a trade.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it didn't matter
They
because I didn't really
they
need
never
it, but
really came into play that much. Like there just wasn't enough damage uh, dealt to the player to really necessitate that type of thing.
right.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's one of the things. Like if I went back and did like another update to this map, I would probably either reduce the villager trades overall, or like you said, separate them into
the guy in front
like
of
some
Trance
sort of
1 has some things, and the guy in front of Trance
right.
3,
Like
or
the guy in front of this would have TNT, and then you'd say, "Oh, why would I need TNT?" And then you'd look in this dungeon and be like, "Oh, I see." Um, But yeah, that's just kind of one of those things that
Yeah.
who knows if I'll ever get around to doing something like that. I'd like to update the map a little bit, but I think we're getting so close to 1.9 that it's so hard to jump back and forth between 1.8
Yes,
commands, and
definitely. I've been
it's
trying to
just more
decide.
trouble than it's
I've
worth.
hardly played 1.9. Like I've been working on bingo for it for a while, but like I haven't played to get used to it, and I'm trying to decide if there's any other 1.8 stuff I want to do before I
Right.
do that, because I know my mentally I will not be able to shift back and forth between like being able to block and not being able to block, or
Right.
using a shield or whatever the 1.9 stuff is. So yeah. This room here, yeah, like
Mhm.
watching some other people, like they kind of hated it, and I was like, okay, whatever. I just like flew through it and ignored all the ghasts,
Mhm.
and I found that there was an exit over here, and yeah, in general, like the first room of the water temple dungeon, like I thought maybe the whole thing was going to be underwater, and actually, there's only a few parts that are underwater,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice.
One of yeah, I had some people they're just like, you can't just have these giant open rooms full of water and guardians, like it just doesn't work. And I'm like, there's only two rooms like that. Just play the rest, you know. But yeah, there is something about this dungeon that just like most people I watch play it, like it just set them off like on a sour note right from the start. Like they
Right.
just didn't want anything to do with the mining fatigue. They didn't want to do with the water, and
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, so mining fatigue like is a huge change to all of Minecraft gameplay for the most part, and
right,
so
it
people,
turns it into an adventure map all of a sudden. You know, where
yes, and
you're
so I
going.
can understand people reacting like that. I feel like in general, like I didn't like this dungeon, but I appreciated it. Like I saw what you're doing, and I thought it was actually pretty well executed for what you're doing, and so I liked having have had the chance to play through it. Um, but yeah, was not kind of like, I don't know, eager to do it again. But I was happy that it was at the
Yeah.
end when I had all the good loot, and so it was just like, all right, I'm gonna just switch up my style. I'm just gonna light everything up, kill everything, tank everything, ignore most of the things,
Mhm.
run through and get my stuff.
That's kind of the nice thing about this dungeon's layout is that it's more geared towards you can kind of do the dash and grab type of thing, type of gameplay, rather than you just got to slug it out and light every square inch of it and
There's a couple
take
places where
out
I don't
every
think that
spawner.
is true. I think at the middle tier maybe one of them I don't feel that that's true of, but the rest of them I do.
Yeah.
This one definitely you can just kind of run through for the most part.
Yeah.
And then not a trap.
I felt like I had to tell people at this point.
But it's funny because it says not a trap and nothing happens, and the second one says not a trap and nothing happens, and the third one says not a trap, and then like there's an explosive explosion sound when you press the button.
All right. Yeah, I like to play games like that. It's fun.
Yeah, in general, yeah, I feel like you're a troll, and that's probably also is what led me to like pressing the emergency escape and then just thinking nothing happened. I was like, oh, 3-2 is just trolling.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. So it gives you a secret key, enter eye or whatever, and says this one goes in the lower tier and another one goes in the middle tier, another one goes in the top tier. Is there a way that you
Mhm.
can actually detect that, or do you just detect once player gets three of them, or?
What I've done is I've got a scoreboard. There's three scoreboard values: temple key 1, temple key 2, and temple key 3.
Hmm.
Um, so when you press that button, you just got to score temple key 1, and your score is 1.
Hmm.
Um, so then I've got I believe it's a fill or a set block that's the old block
Oh,
handling on
so
it.
if
Like it
you.
check like before it fills. Like what it's doing is just it. Oops. Well, it's not
But
doing
basically,
that.
if you try to put the wrong
But
one in,
yeah, if you put the wrong one in, it just deletes it and replaces it with a new thing. If you
gotcha,
don't
and then
have the
gives you
right
your ender eye
score.
back or whatever.
Let me grab another one of those real quick.
Or...
Yeah, I'd have to look at the commands. Like I said, it's
Okay.
been a while since I've done this, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Okay, yeah. In any case, I happened to put them all in the right spot and didn't really think too much about it. But then when I was watching other people,
So that
I was
works.
wondering, yeah, if you could just get three Temple One keys and put them in all three whatevers. Um, and so yeah, I'm curious if we go up to the middle tier and try to put Temple One in just to like see
Yeah,
what happens, because that's the
I
type of
I think
usability
it'll.
thing that is a lot of effort for the map maker to make work.
Yep.
Um,
See, it's
Yep. Very
It
nice.
just sets it
Okay.
back.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
yeah.
took a while to work out to where it
Yep.
worked properly and
Yeah,
everything.
that's the type of thing that like, I didn't even experience it at all in my LP, but you got to do it to not have it be super frustrating if people do the wrong thing.
Right, right.
And yeah, like doing Minecraft bingo, yeah, there's so much stuff like that. It's like, what if people press these buttons in this wrong order that you never thought of?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that like takes so much time with command blocks and different things to like program up so that it behaves a good way, so the person who's playing the map doesn't get like paint themselves into a corner where things feel broken.
Yeah. It's so hard to like explain to people why that's hard too. It's like, well, you know what you're programming, right? It's like, then just write it. And it's like, no, here's the thing is I've got to write each line separately, put it in a block, put that block in the game, make that block do something, and then there's got to be 30 other blocks linked to that. Oh yeah, it
And
gets
not
so
have it completely lag
complex.
out the game,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, and then
Yeah, so
test it,
forgive me if
and
it takes me a while to just do that, okay? Like we'll get it done eventually. But
any case, nice work, and I'm glad we talked through that because I was curious about that after watching others.
yeah.
So this one is kind of uphill, a bit of a kind of slog fest. Oh, it has the trap that I just went flying by that you're probably going to right now. Yeah, it's right through here, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah. Yeah.
This was
Yeah,
really
so this
cute.
is the only command block trap, and of course this one doesn't kill you.
Right. They don't do any damage, right?
They're like their blast radius is 1, so it's enough to
Gotcha.
kill the guardian, but it won't really do
Gotcha.
anything else. And then like a lot of people miss
Yeah, I missed the key.
the key,
Right.
and or they just didn't even look, and the first thing they're like, well, that's stupid, why you block me in here, now I gotta break it. And so then they spend 5 minutes breaking a block with mining fatigue, but
Yep.
there's a lever right here, and I made this little block. I
Yep. It
thought it
was
was pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
and yeah, the secret key, I guess, yeah, people haven't seen it. It says, guess where this goes?
Hmm.
And yeah, there's an obvious corner block. And so, yeah, watching other people, I never bothered to open the chest because my strategy is light up the rooms and come back for the chest later. Because at this
Uh-huh.
point, I had like all the loot I could ever need.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so I didn't even look at the chest in the beginning, I don't think. And yeah, so but I didn't feel sour about breaking the block because I just thought it was such a clever, unexpected thing, and it was silly and fun, and it terrified me. It was a good what do you call it, jump scare kind of,
Uh-huh.
like you see in a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And
This
so
one this one actually works on like another one of those falling sand
I
spawners.
see, it's a proximity thing. Okay.
I'm not sure where it's all at, but it's in there somewhere. But yeah, this is like the only command block trap I think in the map.
Yeah, but I liked it, and I don't remember exactly how I reacted kind of during my playthrough, but I liked it even more than watching other people like come and
All
do the
right.
same thing.
That's good.
So that was fun. But yeah, the rest of this, I do feel like this one, especially this room right here, was one that was difficult to kind of like, you had to kind of back off and come back and we're kind of make progress through this room. I
Yeah,
didn't
this
see
one's a
any
little
easy way
bit
to
more
kind of run
combat
through.
heavy. It's hard to work upstairs
Yeah, exactly. Stairs with the
skeletons.
skeletons. Yeah.
And plus these aren't even stairs. You actually have to jump each block and all
Right,
that.
and this one again is a spawner that's positioned that you can't really get the light out exactly because they're going to be spawning kind of like over in the airspace over here, and it's hard to light up completely. And on top of it, there were some creepers coming from the next room at this point who were supercharged, who might be trying to come down the stairs at you and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a little tough.
So this one, yeah, I felt like there was a bit of coming back to. And then I saw other people who actually like looked at the ceiling and saw the thing kind of early on. I kind of, like, I lit this thing up, I took completely control of this room, and I'm like, where do I go now? And I'm not sure if the little designs on the wall, like, clued me in, but at some point I did look up, and I was like, aha, there's something up there.
Yeah, this is one of those things I probably could have done better. Or one thing that was suggested was that when you kill, like either break this spawner or kill out all the elder archers here, that like a stairway actually gets cloned here somehow.
I see.
Which is again is like it's a little bit beyond the caliber of this map. Like, I wanted to, I wanted to polish up the jam version, but I didn't want to add,
Right.
A ridiculous amount of stuff that was never there before.
Yeah, you can
so,
spend an infinite amount of time polishing a map, right?
yeah. So yeah, that's one
Yeah,
of those things. I probably could have done some sort of signal a little bit better, but
right.
I think
And
most people ended up finding it.
yeah,
So
and I saw some people, yeah, just like use blocks and ladders, and I think I use slime blocks because at that
slime
point,
blocks is
like,
the best.
yeah, slime blocks are good, and you can also use them as a quick way down potentially. I think I
Yeah.
tried to do that and ended up taking a bunch of fall damage because it didn't quite work. Um, or a water bucket at this point, but I don't think I had my water bucket on me at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, slime blocks. That's another case of if people don't know all the Minecraft mechanics, they might not figure out how they're useful in this area. But
Yeah,
that's
I
probably
noticed
on them.
that. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like I played the game for so long, and I pay so much close attention to like
Every change.
yeah, that you just never realize like what people don't pick up. And of course, I miss stuff too. There's plenty of stuff I don't know,
Yeah, this game has
but
gotten quite the complex rat's nest of mechanics and behaviors. Um, yeah, but yeah, this room, yeah, I just ran and light stuff up, killed things
yeah,
off. I don't think I even noticed the elder skeletons were wearing the elder head and had the name.
oh yeah, they've also got the little depth particles around them, but you can hardly see them.
Ah, yeah. So,
But yeah,
but
they
yeah,
weren't. There's nothing too threatening about this room. It's just a lot of mobs usually end
yeah.
up
And then I see a lot of
in
people
here.
they react to electrified creepers like with super negativity. Like, I mean, it's a dangerous mob, but if you're wearing like Prot 4 iron or whatever, like, you know,
Yeah,
this is like a normal
it's not
creeper in
an
normal
instant
Minecraft,
kill.
basically. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna do a lot of damage. It's gonna mess up your torches and possibly like let some water into the area from somewhere or something. But yeah, I always see like a disproportionate reaction when people find electrified creepers late in the map.
hmm yeah. One of the things I did, I didn't buff the powered creeper's health, so you wouldn't run into the where you think, oh, I'll just take them out in 2 or 3 hits, and then they got infinite health and they explode in your face. Like tried to avoid stuff like that.
I see. You're such a nice guy.
I'm getting nice in my old age. I don't want to kill people. Jeez. All right, so there's the second key.
Yep.